Hey everyone, welcome back to Bryan's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail, and today we are going to talk about more mysteries of Yosemite. Some of these we have discussed in the past, some of these are still ongoing, some of these are new that you haven't heard of. But one of the reasons Yosemite is such a ponderance to all of us is because it's such a beautiful, huge park with these structures, these rock formations that are over the size of two Empire State Buildings on top of each other. And unfortunately, a lot of people, when they go into this park, they aren't using their best judgment. They see something on a newscast where someone's doing a great picture, where, somebody that is really know what they're doing, and then they end up falling over one of these waterfalls or something. So the park has a lot of legends and a lot of different things, but actually this park is not the #1 park for disappearances. That title goes to Lake Mead Recreational National Center and Reservation Center, which we'll talk about in another video. Yosemite is an absolutely beautiful park, and it has a lot to offer if you go there with the proper respect and dignity for the park. I just found out that some people have been vandalizing it with spray paint, and it just breaks my heart. It's just awful. The first case I wanted to talk to you about that I'm sure some of you are familiar with, but some of you are not, is Mary Curry, and she was the manager of the Yosemite's Oahe Hotel, which I'm going to have some pictures of there. She passed apparently living in her quarters, which was on the top floor in the 1970s. Guests and various staff members have also been reported seeing her ghost bustling around the hallways, moving up and down the stairs and checking in on visitors, doing all kinds of the creepy things that ghosts are supposed to do. There have also been reports of her rocking in a chair, moving on its own time in some suites, and which obviously that can all be scary. Actually, the most scary part about this is their suite doesn't have any rocking chair in it, and according to the Oahe tribes, this is an evil spirit in the wind called the Po-Ho-Ho that lurks around Yosemite's waterfalls. Kind of like they describe it as a siren. The entity lures people to the edge of the falls and lets out its gust, sending them plummeting into the afterlight over the falls. Apparently, around Camp Yosemite's number 6 is the backdrop for a tragic urban legend, which apparently one night a camper took his life. There was no note, nothing was found. He was found hanging from a wooden frame of his tent. Now, many people say you can still see him from swinging from that wooden frame of the dark, lonely nights. Apparently, the best time to view this phenomena is between the hours of 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. And of course, these are all urban legends, so take from it what you will. Another legend stems from a ranger saying when he was working in the Tuolumne Meadows areas of Yosemite that he heard what sounded like pounding footsteps, and when he got up to see what it was, he could only see the outline of what he thought was a Bigfoot. And when he screamed, the Bigfoot, ironically to his demise, ran off and screamed as well. So he didn't get a better look at it than that. One of the biggest legends is Tiana Canyon, and she's often referred to as the Bermuda Triangle of Yosemite because it was just, local lore states that she was a member of the Awahachi tribe, and they cursed the canyon back in the 1850s. A fight raged, and American soldiers took the life of the chief's son. Now, it's believed that the canyon is taking revenge on those who attempt to explore its dangerous terrain. Again, take that from what you will, but in September of 2002, a strange light was captured on video near Yosemite Area 51. It slowly hovered, gliding through the air, leaving a luminous trail behind before disappearing, which is kind of pretty crazy. I mean, a lot of this stuff I know is just local lore, but I wanted to share it with you guys. Yosemite National Park was established back in 1890, and it draws roughly 4 million visitors each year. Now, many of these people could tell you they saw some creepy things or stories about Yosemite, whether it was a creepy voice in the wind or lost rustle in the forest, vast open wilderness. It definitely has a way of giving you a sense of creepiness, although There are a lot of great things about Yosemite as well. Now, many hikers have also reported a wailing sound erupting from Grouse Lake. Now, the first documented of this phenomenon came from Galen Clark, Yosemite's first park ranger in 1867. Clark heard the cries and thought perhaps it was a dog, so he asked the local Native American tribe if they had lost one. They told him it was not a dog and not to go after it. According to them, an indigenous boy drowned in the lake many years ago, and now he haunts it, calling out to those who pass by. Another one of the most bizarre cases that I haven't discussed is in 1999, 43-year-old Carol Sund and her 15-year-old daughter, Julie, and Julie's 16-year-old friend, Sylvia Pelasco, checked into the Cedar Lodge and never checked out. A hiker found red Pontiac torched deep in the mountains with Carol and Sylvia in the trunk, and 6 days later, the FBI received a map leading them to Julie. Her throat had been slashed. Then in July of that same year, a teacher at Yosemite Institute, Joey Roth Armstrong, went missing. Her body was found 27 feet away from her head in a drainage ditch. They went for this lunatic, and they finally figured out that it was Cary Stayner, who was a serial killer that was eventually caught and prosecuted for all his terrible, terrible acts. The last case we're going to talk about, because we haven't talked about it, is Stacy Arras, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. She went missing when she was only 14 years old. Apparently, when Arras wandered off, a 77-year-old man from her camp accompanied her. The man sat down to rest while the rest of them walked around. Now, Stacy didn't return. The man got up to look for her, then gathered the remainder of the group to search more extensively. He later found that he had spoken to a group of hikers. They said she hadn't seen her, blah, blah, blah. The only thing they ever found was her camera lens. Now, this to me is a sheer case of either foul play or just a very bad fall. But the fact, while the group was resting, Arras told her father she wanted to hike down and take pictures of the nearby lake. Her father declined that she would join her. Arras left her companions and her tour guide, and she was standing about 50 yards south of the trail, quote unquote, and that was the last time anyone had ever reported seeing her. The only thing they found was her camera lens, and to me this has to be either a case of foul play, someone abducted her, or she took a terrible fall, but there's no evidence of that. So I hope to God that we can find some closure for her family. I mean, I know this has been going on for years and years, but I hope that, because this is a case that I know there is something that just doesn't make any sense, and I know that there's someone else involved and someone knows what happened to her. That person hopefully is rotting in hell, or I don't know. I just hope we can bring her back to her family one way or another. There are a lot of unexplained mysteries that happened in Yosemite, and I am hoping to cover some of them when I get out west this summer. So hopefully you'll stick around with me this summer, and I will bring you all those cases. I want to thank you all for all your support. I want to thank you all for watching, as always. Special thank you to CO.AG for providing the background music, and I will see everybody in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I know there's so many cases in Yosemite, and there's so many cases that are just so bizarre. So I hope to cover some of those cases when I get out west this summer, and I will be out there in a couple of days. And like I said, if any of you have any questions, or if you'd like to join me, I'd love to hear from you, and I love all your support. And thank you for being so supportive during my time of recovery. And I appreciate it so much. And I will see everybody in my next video. Take care.